Hello and welcome to Morning Coffee with Maddog Merv. Gypsy's here with us, the Blue Healer's here with us, the Ball's here with us, and let's see what we got going on the channel today, shall we? That's pretty good, Cruella. Welcome to Morning Coffee, Maddog Merv today.
Got our French roast this morning again. I wonder if I'm a big fat guy. I mean, holy cow. I always had a schmear. A schmear.
He's probably going for bagels. He's trying to steal
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it.
I have no clue.
And I got a bunch of chores to do. Oh, who wants to do that?
For today's shout out, a channel called Laser Creation World. All I gotta say is they turn out some amazing stuff on this channel when it comes to miniature model making type of things. Does a lot of laser cutting with wood and whatnot, and just makes some amazing projects. Go ahead and check it out. I'll try to put a link in the description if I can remember my old brain, and check out Laser Creation World. Well, welcome to the eve of Labor Day. I still don't know exactly how Labor Day all got started. You'd think somebody who studies history as much as I do would know. I really have no idea. All I know is this is one of those holidays that pretty much everybody gets. Pretty much. Not everybody, but a lot more people than some of the other holidays, you know. So I will take it. We will be having a great time the rest of this weekend. It's been a good weekend so far. And I hope that last week's Monday's show on the figure painting, that you guys were able to get something new out of that. I know that I've learned, and I've had to practice that technique that I showed you guys a few times. It's easy to overdo. One of the things I really didn't mention, but I need to mention, is you should probably, after you get the base coat on, that kind of a rust wash, use it a little more sparingly than what I did. When I use washes, I tend to just slather it on there. I think it overpowers it, in my opinion. I find if I use it a little less, a little lighter, it works out a lot better. And that matte varnish that I put on at the end is actually, you can put that on, that matte varnish, you can put that on instead of the future floor finish that I put on. The idea is just to protect the paint that's already there before you put your oil wash on. And the matte varnish, you could also use it at the very end like I did, but it does leave a little bit of a sheen, and I did have to go back with my Tamiya clear flat to get it, perfectly flat. Now I've used the acrylic wash technique for years on my figures, and I like it. I like it better than using that oil-based wash. I put that on, no matter how light I try to put it on, it just doesn't look right. And then you've got to take it back off with mineral spirits, like odorless thinner, whatever. It just, to me, it still overpowered it. It does take some practice. This is a technique that if you do practice, you're going to get some good results, but it's going to take some practice. So a lot of trial and error on that. But I think it's a good technique. I think it turns out pretty decent figures, if well, better than what I've done in the past. I'll say that for sure, in my opinion. I still don't do figures very well, but I'm sure that you guys can use those techniques, or some of those techniques, and get some great results. So I hope that show was helpful to you. Then we wound up doing the resin flamethrower Marines for the Kit Hoarder stash. It wasn't what I had really planned. The show that I had planned has to do with figures as well, but I've been having some computer issues, particularly in the evening. I don't know what exactly is going on. I just know that I've been having some problems with my downloads, going really, really slow. Sometimes loading up video that's over 5 minutes long takes a lot longer than it should right now. So I'm not sure what's going on with the computer. I gotta get that figured out rapidly. But we will have a show this week on the Kit Hoarder Stash, and I'm hoping it will be these other figures that I wanted to show you last week. So for the main show that we're going to be doing on Labor Day tomorrow, yay! For the main show, we are going to kick off Halloween season. So as you know, unless you're new to the channel, which is fine, we do have 4 seasons here. Okay, and here's how the seasons go. We have spring, beautiful time of year, and then we have summer, which is also beautiful, just hot and dry. And that officially ends on Labor Day, as far as I'm concerned. That's when kids should go back to school, not in the middle of freaking July or the end of July or even the first part of August. And then they wonder, oh, the air conditioning's not working. Well, yeah, if you go to school when you're supposed to, which is in September, things would be fine. People who set up these schedules are just, Anyway, we have summer, and then summer ends officially with Labor Day. Then comes our next season. And some people would say, oh, yeah, fall, my favorite. No. We don't have fall here. Yeah, we have leaves that fall off the trees, but no. It's called Halloween season. And Halloween season for me starts the 1st of September. Labor Day is the kickoff for Halloween season, meaning it's time to start putting together stuff for decorations and getting them out in the yard. So, tomorrow we will have our kickoff show by showing you this Kraken behind me here. My son picked up one of those. We've got a bunch of animatronics, as you can see. I got the Headless Horseman back there. Got Captain Cuts. I got a whole pirate crew here, actually. Anyway, tomorrow's show, my son got this Kraken, and it's terrible. It's just a flat black, cheap paint. Comes right off the plastic. Any bump, and it just falls right off. So it needed some paint. You see what I did? It's got color shift paint on it. It looks really cool out in the sunlight. So we're going to go over how I did this on tomorrow's show. So after Halloween season, which extends till, of course, the day of Halloween, and then we move into, not winter, no, we move into Christmas season. So for me, Christmas season, getting things ready, decorating and whatnot, starts 1st of November. Okay, that's not when I put the tree up, but that's when I start moving to that mode of let's get the stuff out, let's get it cleaned up. If I'm doing any projects for Christmas, I start on it then. But that's, I don't start on it before the 1st of November. So there's that. And then after Christmas, it's not really a season. I have this thing called the Depths of Frozen Hell, which is Utah in January and February. Okay. Just gloomy and gray and cold and nasty, and who wants to live in Utah during that time of year? That type of thing. So anyway, it's not a season. It's just part of being here. I digress. So the figures, after I got the heads painted on them, I went to work on the uniforms. And I've been trying out this AK next generation or 3rd generation, whatever it is, paint set for U.S. military uniforms. And looks great. I really like how it brush paints. I can airbrush it as well, but it brush paints really well. The colors are good. There's one of the colors, it's like for the buff leggings and the belts and whatnot, that the tone is correct, but the brilliance of it. So in other words, it's the tone looks good, but it's too dark. Not dark. What's the good word for it? I mean, it looks like it's in the shade. That's all I can really that's all I can really put together at the moment. But it just doesn't look quite right. I've used some other colors in the past that I like better as far as the brilliance of them, but the tone itself, the AK colors, really do look good. Between that and the it was in a U.S. equipment set, so like the belts and the web gear and all that kind of stuff. There's a set out, and that works really good. I'm going to use some of those new AK markers for some of the straps as well. So I'm looking forward to showing you folks all of that in a few weeks when I get to a point that I can actually show that to you. I did have quite a conversation with a good friend of mine who I agree with what he says. So when it comes to particularly figure modeling, there is a lot of this shadowing that goes on down in the folds. And we were sitting at lunch the other day, and he says, well, look at my shirt here. He says, you don't see all of these different tones. And I'm like, dude, look, take a minute and look. You can see where the light is hitting the high spots, and you can see underneath kind of the darker areas. That's what you're trying to simulate. So how well you do that, that's, up to you. But there's definitely, this is a red shirt, but it has light and dark areas. I choose to simulate it usually by washes and dry brushing of a lighter color. That's just how I choose to do it. Is it overdone? Up close, absolutely. From a distance, not too bad. It depends on how bad I overdo it. And I have a tendency to overdo it. If it's done right, it actually looks great. Again, I'm not a great figure painter. I don't even consider myself a good figure painter. I just paint figures because I have to sometimes. Anyway, I've been working on these figures and putting them in a couple of little vignettes that we're going to show you guys in a couple of weeks. And lastly, remember that Flames of War Japanese tank that was based on an E75 chassis that I reviewed a few weeks ago, by whatever the company chose to call itself that day. I hate that stuff, by the way. I really do. The Chinese really got to get it together. Anyway, I've decided to go ahead and start building that because it looked pretty simple, looked pretty easy. And so far it has been. The instructions are just awful as far as I'm concerned. But I've managed to get through it to a certain point, throw some paint on it, and that's kind of where I'm at, is getting the turret where I want it to be, and then I'll finish the chassis, and that's going to be a show coming up, hopefully within the next month. But that's going to be a neat addition to the collection, just looking at it. It's weird, and it's just flat out cool. So just know that that's coming up. Well, thanks, folks. Enjoy your holiday tomorrow if you've got it off. If you don't have it off, I'm sorry. Either way, barbecue. It's a great time for a barbecue. It's a great excuse to barbecue. And be safe out there. We will see you tomorrow for our main show. We'll get cracking on the Kraken.